So today's workout, old school pump. We're gonna use Vince Gironda's 8x8 protocol to start on 2 chest and back movements. So we're gonna, just a bit of a variation here where we're gonna actually not superset, but just hit one and then the other muscle group. So it's a different way to do it. If you haven't done it before, Vince used to just go through basically one muscle group for the workout, was like the main protocol. But this is another way you can try it where one of us will be doing a back, one of us will be doing the chest for the protocol, then we'll switch, and then we'll move on to another series of exercises. So the first series, we're gonna use high incline pressing. So if your shoulders are nice and healthy, experiment a little bit with that wide, internally rotated stretched position. If the shoulders need to warm up more to that, or they're just a little bit crusty, we would just kind of semi-pronate, turn in just a little bit more, make it a little more accommodating for the scapula to move through a comfortable ROM. Exercise 2 in the first series, seated row. We're playing around a little bit with range on this. So if you have a seated row like this is an old school machine, you can put a block in front and we can actually get a nice seated pike stretch. So seated hamstring stretch, we're gonna leverage that as well. So I just have more of a gap here. It's going to allow me to find a better reach. Vince is probably one of the greatest bodybuilding minds of our times, right? And a lot of Vince's stuff, it's not that it's lost, it's not used as much, but this was a conditioning protocol that he used with a lot of his bodybuilders where it was endurance and volume. So how are we doing that? We're gonna hit 8x8, 64 reps total. He would use 3 to 4 movements. We're doing 2 because we're doing back and chest.
What side of that?
I'll just try this, and if this feels good, I'll start. So I'm kind of staying protracted there, right? So shoulders are kind of staying forward. Let's go. I would say 8x8 on that, I'll be all right. 30 seconds rest. You get excited, but then when you start doing your 4th or 5th set, 30 seconds, you're like, all right, I went a bit heavy. Pump it out. You don't worry too much about tempo on this type of protocol. Just control your reps, blast them out, feel good about them. Don't overcomplicate it. If someone was to use this type of row, try to get more range, do not force it. Do not relax into that range with this type of protocol. You want to feel like you can control that rep. And if you're going to go further, let it happen over time. Don't force it or yank yourself further with the weight. Think of it as a loaded stretch. Push. Come on, Matt. Get that old school pump. Is that 8? 7. Drop that shit, man. Yeah. Finish strong. You gotta finish with 10 now.
Yeah, I got 10.
On your last. You gotta make up for those missed reps. Yep. Up. 2 more. 1 more. Drive. Yep.
Oh, wow.
A little prolonged rest to get to the next one, just to restore the energy systems a bit more. See, I like that straight leg. I can really drive my legs, pull my ribs tight. You might call that range of strength.
Yeah.
All right. That was 8 for me. So our next series is just going to be lat pull down. We're going to use a straight bar. And we're actually going to do an offset dumbbell fly. And this is a cool one. Keeping our upper back and scaps free from the bench, we can get way more movement on our flies. So now my scaps are free for movement here. I want to think about protracting and then coming back. You can bend the arms a bit more if you want. I like to keep the arms pretty straight. So you can see the bench being off like that, I'm able to get much more freed up. I love this bar. Nice little straight bar. I can barely lift my arms right now. Classic wide pull down. I like to keep my back relatively flat on these, so I don't like to bend too much into my pulls. I find I can get just a much better stretch through the lats. Just be a little more honest with it. And we're just doing 2 chest and back exercises, so if we wanted to isolate this just the chest, we'd probably do 3, maybe 4 as we got better.
If you were just doing chest or back.
Just doing chest, yeah. But we're gonna hit chest and back together, big compound, and polish it off with a little arm pump. I mean, if you're looking to save some time, if you're looking to diversify your training, so it's like Matt's doing some ollie lifting, I do old time lifts on another day. Having a really flushed out session like this makes for a great transition through the week.
Absolutely. Number 4.
Yeah. Form's getting sloppy. Check your ego. Vince called it the honest workout. That takes you in such a stretched position.
I was just saying, you said now you want to do a bicep pump? Jeez.
Well, let's talk about that. Organizing a full body session or any kind of upper body session with back movements or even chest movements, sometimes it's just easy to think about the position of your grip or how you're doing movements. So we did semi-prone row to start. We did pronated pulling on our second, and now we're going to a supinated underhand grip for a row or for a curl. It's one way to think about organizing your sessions and movement selection a little bit more for balance. Just kind of training all those positions. So in pressing, we did more of a vertical type press, and we're doing an abduction, adduction movement. Now we're gonna get into some weird shit with the triceps.